Welcome, Jefferson families, to the 8th grade physical science virtual back-to-school night. This year, your child will have one of us teachers. From left to right is Rabia Faki, the Phoenix science teacher, Jim Styron, the Gator science teacher, Rachel von Elmendorf, the Eagle science teacher, and Abby Castor, the special education science teacher who works with all teams. Here's a little bit about Miss Rabia Faki, the Phoenix science teacher. And here's some information about Miss Abby Castor, the special education teacher who works with all teams. Here is Jim Styron, the Gator physical science teacher. And here's Rachel von Elmendorf, the Eagle physical science teacher. We all work together to make sure that your students get the same learning experiences. And this year it's physical science, so there will be about half of the year spent on chemistry, the study of matter, and physics, really the study of energy. This year there's lots of math involved, lots of higher level thinking, lots of hands-on activities as we explore experiments in both areas. The two main ways that we learn physical science are through IB/MYP units. You will see a sample of that in a moment. And hands-on activities, which include experiments, laboratory activities, problem-based learning scenarios, and other things that really get our students thinking about how science is explored and used in the real world. These first 2 weeks we have been exploring science ethics through an IB/MYP unit. You can take a moment to see the samples of the different activities and the different learning objectives that we explored and achieved through this unit. In addition to IB/MYP units, we use a combination of formative and summative tasks to assess student understanding. Formative tasks can be thought as little daily activities and homework assignments for learning. These are usually graded on effort, and students are encouraged to make mistakes, to learn from them, so by the time they take the summative tasks or the summative assessments, which can be tests or projects, they're really able to show what they know, and we're better able to determine that they understand the subject. If you have any specific questions about grading, it's best to reach out to your child's science teacher. One example of IB grading can be really understood through this sample that your child will actually get to do about February when we're in our chemistry and our periodic table unit. So you can see on the left that the different levels of questions in the IB increase in complexity from your level 1-2 questions all the way up to your level 7-8 questions. Through this year, we will expose students to all sorts of levels of questions and really aim to get them thinking about those high level, those 7-8 questions. You can see through the examples that students will need to understand vocabulary, apply it to descriptions, explain how things work, and ultimately predict or analyze or justify to really get to those higher level skills. Feel free to test your thinking here and ask your student come February if they can help you answer these questions. We're often asked, how can you help your student this year? The good news is you don't have to know any physics, but certainly if you do, that's a huge bonus. One thing that we're really working towards here in the 8th grade as our students go from being 7th graders to high schoolers is really getting to the bottom of what it means to be successful. So if you take a moment to look at this picture, it shows success at the very top, what people can see, but it also shows all the things that go into success that people don't often see. Now, things like dedication and hard work and disappointment, they can be really hard for students, and they may come through mistakes. They may come through not always getting the grades that they want the first time, but we're really trying to teach our students and to model for our students that we're really committed to growth. And it doesn't matter where they start. We're all looking to grow and to get better and better each day through these things that people don't often see. Another way that you can help your students is to really ask them what they are doing to keep up with their assignments. This year, every student has an agenda, and teachers are really working hard to make sure that students write their homework assignments in their agenda. Parents can encourage students to check their agendas daily. Parents, you can also check your email when we send out an update every Monday. You can check grades frequently, sign report cards quarterly. But ultimately, we hope that you will encourage student self-advocacy, that together we can really get students to figure out what they need to be successful and that they can grow in their independence and start to take ownership for their learning. Another question parents may have is, what is Yellow Jacket Period? This is a relatively new period at Jefferson. Your students have been through it before if they're 8th graders. And here are some examples of what it may look like if your student has science for Yellow Jacket Period. We tend to do enrichment activities in science for Yellow Jacket Period. One example is VJAS. In addition to the required science fair project, students may get support in preparing a research paper to submit to a state competition. Another example is, we call it the Egg Drop Extravaganza. And through this Yellow Jacket Period, we research a lot of things about force and flight. And ultimately, students participate in a problem-based learning activity where they try to protect an egg from breaking when it's dropped from the roof of the gym. That concludes a summary of our Back to School Night presentation. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to your child's science teacher. Thank you.